Once upon a time, deep in a quiet corner of the forest, there lived a small rabbit. He lived all by himself in a cozy little burrow under the roots of a great oak tree. While his home was warm and safe, sometimes he felt a wave of loneliness wash over him. It's a feeling we all get from time to time, isn't it? That feeling of wanting a friend to share a moment with. One particularly sunny afternoon, that familiar lonely feeling crept in. He had a little drum he'd made from a hollow log and some stretched hide. He picked up his drum, hopped out of his burrow into the bright sunshine, and began to play. He tapped out a cheerful rhythm and started to sing a little song he made up on the spot. It was a simple, happy tune about the sun, the grass, and the joy of being alive. He hoped his music might travel through the woods and bring a friend to his door. As he was happily drumming and singing, a large crow was circling high above in the clear blue sky. The crow had very sharp ears, and the sound of the rabbit's little drum drifted up to him. The crow was not in a good mood. In fact, he was a very grumpy bird, and the sound of the rabbit's cheerful song annoyed him immensely. He folded his wings and swooped down, landing right in front of the startled rabbit. "That drumming is getting on my nerves, Mr. Rabbit," the crow squawked, his voice raspy and mean. "You will stop it right now." The rabbit, surprised and a little scared, clutched his drum. Before he could even say a word, the crow lunged forward, grabbed the rabbit's right arm with his sharp beak, and cruelly tore it away. The rabbit cried out in pain and shock as the crow ate his arm right there in front of him. The crow then flew off, leaving the poor rabbit trembling and hurt. The next day, the rabbit was in a great deal of pain, but the loneliness felt even worse. He refused to let the mean crow take away his hope. So, with his one remaining arm, his left arm, he picked up his drum, went outside, and started to play his song again. His voice was a little shaky, but he sang with all his heart. He tapped the drum, the beat a little slower now, but still full of spirit. High above, the crow heard the sound again. He was furious. I told him to stop. He cawed to himself. "I warned you not to beat that drum," he screeched. And with that, he snatched the rabbit's left arm and gobbled it up. The rabbit was now left with no arms at all, just a broken heart and his little drum lying on the grass. You might think this is where our story ends, that the rabbit would just give up. But this rabbit had a spirit that refused to be broken. On the third day, he pushed his drum out of his burrow with his nose. He couldn't hold the drumsticks, of course, so he started to beat the drum with his right foot. Thump, thump went the drum, a steady, defiant beat. And he sang his song, his voice louder this time, filled with a courage he didn't know he had. Of course, the crow heard him. He was enraged. He swooped down, his black eyes blazing with anger. "You just don't learn, do you?" he snarled, and he ate the rabbit's right foot. The next day, the rabbit, determined as ever, came out and beat the drum with his one remaining limb, his left foot. And just as before, the cruel crow came down and ate that foot too. Now, the poor rabbit had no arms and no feet. On the 5th day, he rolled his body out of the burrow and pushed his drum in front of him. He looked at the drum, and then, with all his might, he began to beat the drum with his head. Bop, bop, bop. The crow heard the muffled beat and could not believe it. He flew down, landing beside the brave little rabbit. He looked at the determined creature, who kept bopping his head against the drum. The crow, in his final act of cruelty, bit off the rabbit's head and ate it. Then he picked up what was left of the poor, courageous rabbit and carried him away to his nest to feed to his babies. But, his song didn't completely disappear. Sometimes, when the wind blows just right through the forest, you can still hear a faint, distant rhythm. He showed us that even in the face of great hardship, the spirit can remain strong. Thanks for listening to this story with me. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe for more tales from the woods. See you next time.